All right, Mick Francis, massive opportunity for Jai Opetaia to showcase his skills here on the Gold Coast June 8th. Thoughts on this fight?
Mate, it's a good fight. It's another stay busy fight for Jai. You know, the biggest killer to these great fighters is inactivity. You know, like he's got to keep busy, and he wants the Zurdo fight, but unfortunately Zurdo doesn't want to fight him. And you know, there's names being thrown around all over the place with all promoters and all these cruiserweights, all these world-class cruiserweights, but no one's mentioning Jai Opetaia's name. So what do? We sit around and wait, or do we, get on the front foot and make things happen? And like if you have a look at fighters that Jai's fought over the years, and have a look what they've done after they fight Jai, he's ended a lot of careers. And unless these guys are getting a payday, they don't want to get in the ring with Jai. This particular guy we got from Italy, he's a tough opponent. I've watched a couple of fights on YouTube. Like, he's a come forward sort of fighter. He's a knucklehead. Like, he's tough. And I've been watching him on his socials. He's working pretty hard. But we just got to keep Jai busy, and this is what we aim to do. And these big fights will eventually come. They can only hide for so long. But as it stands right now, he's fighting in his hometown. He's staying active. He's in the media. It's good. It's good for boxing.
Jai wins this fight. How do you get that Zurdo fight? How do you sort of progress those, talks?
Well, we were promised the Zurdo fight on May 3rd. Turkey Al-Shea came in the change room last time Jai fought before he went out and said May 3rd. So as far as we were concerned, we thought we had May 3rd. Obviously, the sanctioning bodies called for a mandatory, which threw things into the mix. There's a lot of talk back and forth. We were supposed to be on this Conor Ben fight this week. We were told we're going to be on this. I spoke to Eddie Hearn and Ben Shalom about this particular event. All of a sudden, there was no budget for Jai to be on this card. Mate, Jai will fight for 2 bob against Zurdo. He wants the belt. He's never said about money. He's never spoken about money. It's about the belt. He wants to win the WBO belt for his grandfather. That's what it's about, and that's all he wants. So talking about there's no budget, I just think it's baloney. I think that they just are trying to avoid Jai. We're told another time. We're told in New York on July 12th. That fell apart as well. So we've been given these dates, these fights have been promised to us, and they never happen. So what do we have to do? We've got to do our own thing. So look, as I said, I think it'll come. I think we've got to be patient, but I think it'll come.
What do you make of Jai sort of, building his profile in the media here in Australia while all these sort of stalled negotiations are happening? So there's sort of pros and cons of this situation, right?
Yeah, definitely. Every time Jai fights in Australia, his profile is building a little bit more and a little bit more and a little bit more. I know, just looking at his socials on the January 10 card, his socials here in Australia are starting to build quite well. He's starting to be more recognised in Australia. But I'll tell you a funny story. After that particular fight, myself and Jai went to the Ring magazine. It was on the Saturday. And so we flew over there and we didn't realise it was actually a black tie event. So we raced down to this, went to this major shopping centre and it was huge. And then we went into this suit store and we walked in there and the guy behind the counter, he goes, "Mate, are you Jai Opetaia? I only watched you last night. I can't believe you're here in the flesh." Ended up giving Jai his suit, and he said next time you come, his boss, apparently this suit shop, they got 26 suits shops in the UK, and apparently the guys and the board, they all follow Jai and they all watch Jai. Mate, Jai in the UK and out the front of the store, we're getting photos everywhere. He's a rock star over in the UK. In Australia, I call him the Steve Irwin of Australian boxing. He just does not get the recognition. He should be a national hero. What he did on that date in June 2022, mate, he should be recognised as a national hero. There's people in this world, in this country, that have done a lot less in sport. They get much more recognition. There's something wrong with our mainstream media. There's a couple of guys turned up today. It wasn't a real lot. We struggle, and being on the zone, we struggle again. But we're still chipping away. We're getting there. We will win. We won't be broken. But it's tough. It's tough, and we've done it tough. From the very first time I got involved with Jai, we have done it tough. And Jai, he had done a podcast a couple of weeks ago, and he spoke about the challenges that we had, and we continue to have these challenges. So I think the fight will come, but who knows? Like, sometimes I think to myself that Jai should just go to heavyweight, and that's where the real money is. There's a lot more opportunities in the heavyweight division. There's a lot more guys that'll put their hand up. Like, Jai eats all the heavyweights, So, how long can we do it for? I don't know. Jai's the boss. It's up to him. But he's getting very impatient, though.
Talk to us about this card. Some big names: Connor Wallace, Ben Marnie, Justice Hooney on the card as well. It's a great card. Yeah,
we like to call it the super card of Australian boxing. It's a great card. It's a massive card, and any boxing fan, even sports fan, if you didn't tune into this, you're a mug. Honestly, we've got Jai Opetaia, the best cruiserweight on the planet. Hands down, probably one of the best cruiserweights ever to put on the gloves, and we're lucky to own him here in Australia. He's ours. He's a national treasure. In my world, anyway, he's a national treasure, but so he should be. And you got Jai, Connor Wallace. Connor Wallace is a star. He's someone that's going places. He's had his problems. He's had hand injuries and so forth, but he's a superstar. He's a rock star. He brings a massive crowd. They call him the Green Army. Like, he brings them. They're all very vocal. They love a beer. They love a party, and they love a fight. And that's Connor Wallace. So. He will win a world title. He'll get his chance. He's number 2 of the IBF at the moment. I'm hoping he gets his chance within the next 6 to 12 months. I thought he would have got his chance after the last Bivol and Beterbiev fight. Because Bivol won the fight, he's now asked for the exception. So they're going to have that fight again, I hear. So he misses out again, but he'll get his chance. He'll get his chance.
Nice one, mate. Appreciate it.
And Benny Marnie, they got Benny Marnie. I think Ben, he's a local hero. He's missed out on a few opportunities over the last few years. He's got a fair bit of flack on social media at different time he fights. I don't know why. He's a good young man. He's a respectful young man. He trains his ass off. He loves the sport, and he's a world-class contender. And he's fighting for an IBF Intercontinental title, which is the second highest belt in that division, in that sanctioning body, and he will have his hand raised, and hoping for a knockout. But he'll go into the IBF rankings after this particular fight, if not beforehand. And there's some big fights for Benny to be made in the super welterweight division. And then you got obviously Justice Hooney. Justice, we have not seen the best of Justice Hooney. Justice is, after his third fight, he went into a fight against Christian Zoy with one hand, broke his hand weeks out. Went the distance with Christian Zoy. They said, Justice has got no power. Forget about the first 3 guys he fought and put them all away. He had no power. He goes in against Gal. He stops Gal in the 10th round, and he gets a lot of flack. He couldn't stop a first-grade footballer. Well, mate, he went into that fight with one hand. It was 4 weeks apart, those 2 fights. Then they went to the US to change his style, to bring more power. Mate, over in the US when he was sparring, he got clips. He busted his elbow. His elbow's had 3 bone chips and a fracture in his elbow for the last 3 years. He has fought every single fight since then with a crook elbow. He had that elbow fixed on the 28th of January this year. He's back at with Mark Wilson. Mate, he's going places, and there's some big names at the moment being called out for justice. He's number 1 with the WBO. They're talking about Moses Atumu. Here's a fight that justice would take. The money's got to be right, but mate, nobody has fought a fighter like at that level as Justice Hooney. So we're excited about his future as well.
We're going to get kicked out soon, but Justice Hooney's ranking, could we see him in there with Joseph Parker at some point? Did you see that fight?
Well, yeah. Look, Joe's he's the lineal champion. Justice is number 1. If Usyk vacates that title, Justice will be ordered to fight Joe. That's a fight that we will take. That's a fight that I think, respectively to Joe. Joe's done a lot in the sport. if you have a look at Joe's resume, his last 10 fights, he's beat some of the best fighters in the world. I think this for Justice will be a massive test. It'll be a good test. Look, win, lose or draw, Justice wins. Because, you know, Joe Parker's a respectful fighter and he's done a lot in the sport and a great guy as well. Mate, it's a fight that we'll definitely take, and you know, and they both talk to each other. They're both very respectful to each other. Both Tasman fighters and Duco events are very respectful towards each other. So it's a fight that we can obviously put together quite easily.
Nice one, mate. Appreciate your time.
Thank you.